Investors are always on the lookout for the next big thing, and I may have found exactly what you need if you're interested in residual or potentially passive income. Now, the best part is that it can also possibly save your life in the future. So make sure to watch this video through until the end because things are about to get real serious here. So let me go ahead and put the pieces of the puzzle together for you guys here.
Recent fires at food processing plants across the U.S. have several people speculating online if something else is behind them. This tweet notes a, quote, odd coincidence that, quote, 18 U.S. food processing facilities burned down in the last 6 months. The question that we're looking at today, are people setting food processing plants on fire intentionally in order to create a food shortage?
So talk about food shortages, and it's going to be real.
Do the people of the Netherlands want to eat bugs? Is this happening because there was a popular outcry, bring us more bugs?
No, of course not. Nobody's being asked. And I think that that's the point, Nobody really inherently wants to eat bugs. When we think about bugs, we, crawly things, nobody wants to eat that.
Right.
But they're telling us that it's good for the climate, that this is the way that we can save the planet. And that little steak that you have on your plate that gives you some joy in life is that what actually ruins the world. And of course, none of that is true. I think that the push for insect eating is just a compliance test because our politicians know that when they control the food, they control the people.
Phew! Get your tinfoil hats on, folks. We're talking about food shortages and how you should get ahead of these problems right now. You and I are aware of some conspiracy theories, and I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying some of them are absolutely true. I mean, there are some things that people talk about on cartoons that turn out to be true. I mean, we know that with Family Guy, The Simpsons and all that, right? They just use humor to basically tell the system to, piss off to some extent. So you know what just happened?
Tyson Foods stock is being hit hard this morning after the company's third quarter revenue missed Wall Street expectations as higher beef prices ate into consumer demand. The meat company also announcing it's closing 4 additional U.S. chicken plants in an effort to cut costs. This comes after Tyson closed 2 of its plants in May. Those had employed about 1,700 people. The shares are down by more than 10%. And it didn't just miss. They missed by a lot. So if you look at the earnings per share here, you're talking about 15 cents. Analysts have been looking for 26 cents, and sales fell by 3%. So things not going so great here when you look at these Tyson numbers, and it explains why the stock is down so much.
That's right, folks. Tyson Foods, the world's largest processor of chicken, beef, and pork, missed their earnings target by a mile, and they're now set to close up shop in many different areas. But no, the economy is great. More households should be better off and able to afford food just like before, right? Wrong. That would be true if you lived in La La Land or some other fairy tale fiction world, all right? So yeah, cash flow isn't necessarily great for everyone, and it's now leaving people with a few choices. In fact, not many choices, actually. Tell you what, did any of you shift your purchasing habits? I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below, all right? And since you're down there, why not leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel while you're at it, huh? I totally appreciate that, guys. Although, like we heard, it's not just their stocks that are going down. They've also been announcing multiple plant closures. They're closing their plant in North Little Rock, Arkansas, and it's happening in early October. Now, besides the possible layoffs that are going to completely suck because they have, around 200 employees there, besides those cuts, wake up and realize that this is yet another food plant closing, folks. I swear this is systematic.
This will be the second poultry plant the company has closed this year in our state. THV 11's Rebecca Brown takes a closer look at what led to the decision and how the city is reacting.
The CEO of Tyson Foods announced Monday plans to shut down the company's North Little Rock plant come October, saying the company has seen financial struggles.
They went into the final quarter of last year really expecting a lot more demand than they ended up having. And so that left them with a lot of excess inventory. They had to cut a lot of prices. And so prices for their products collapsed. And that meant that their margins, what they make on these products, got a lot smaller. Closing plants, cutting costs, trying to find that margin wherever they can until some of these conditions change.
Those cost-cutting moves will now cost a lot of people their jobs.
For North Little Rock, you've got about 200 people who need to find a new job.
And sure, we argue that it didn't catch on fire, but it did succumb to financial injuries. Where was the bailout for the food company? And here's the thing, the more of these food companies close up, what do you think it's going to do to the prices? Now, they're also set to close up in Corydon, Indiana, Dexter, Missouri, and Noel, Missouri. And so yeah, that's the American dream. Bottoms up, drink up, like whatever they try to sell us. I don't even remember what the president says, but being that this is the biggest processor in the world, you think that, whatever that plan is or was, it's not working. It doesn't mean that food will just be scarce in like a day. And while this warning from them is coming in late, it's at least not too late to, you know what I mean? You can at least try and prepare for what you know is about to come. Because like it or not, we are being pushed onto a ledge where you and I will be forced to jump onto the bandwagon to denounce our farmers and encourage that their land be taken by the government or heck, even a foreign country. That and the switching of meat to bugs that people from the World Economic Forum continue to wish for.
These right here are whole roasted, Texas barbecue flavored cricket snacks. They started out like this and went on a wild ride. Born on a robotic cricket farm in Texas, raised in a big tub, frozen into cricket bricks, then roasted and flavored. And for the record, they're all right. Eating insects is commonplace in lots of the world. It's just never caught on in the US. But some entrepreneurs think we're ready. In fact, the past 5 years have been a roller coaster of insect farming booms and busts. And hanging in the balance is either a quirky snack or a food revolution.
Does that mean you're gonna go full on prepper? Well, that's up to you. You can get a freezer, those big ones that are just like specifically for ice or frozen meat. It'd be nice to have your ice cream in there too, huh? All you need to do is stuff your frozen meat there and just have this one rule. First in, first out. So what does that mean? Well, basically, if you buy a whole chicken by Monday and some pork chops the next week, with the rule, you're supposed to cook the chicken first. Does that make sense? Basically, so you systematically don't allow your food to spoil. So you're building up a stock, but you're also eating the oldest stuff first because that's just logical, right? Now, there is something else that you can do. And again, it's up to you. This is just stuff that I've been thinking about. And this is mostly if you're looking for a safety net, if, stuff were to hit the fan. If you're afraid that eggs will be in short supply, why not invest in having a chicken farm? Now, there's a lot of tutorials online, and you're probably going to have a few problems along that way, but what is the one thing that we know for a fact that they want to take away from us? I mean, we've seen it with how they want to know about our farms at home. They want to know exactly what we're growing, right? This kind of mentality breeds independence, and this is a big fear for them, because by then, you're not going to depend on them for food. But you know who will? Customers. This is a great time to think about a business, because those areas that I just talked about, they're going to be looking for alternatives now. And this country was built on the backs of mom and pop shops. Y'all know that. So what's stopping you from slowly realizing your own dream this way? Because stuff like this doesn't happen every day. I mean, that plant in Arkansas, it's been there for more than 50 years. This could very well be the biggest opportunity for a lot of us. So, I hope you stick with me, and I also hope that you're doing your best to clean up your debt. That way you could start your own business if you choose to do that. Now, before I go, guys, I just want to wish you all good luck if you're starting your own small business. We need more of that here in our country. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for liking the videos. Thank you for subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.